Hey, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be reviewing a figure from the company Xesray. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And it's from Combatants, Fight for Glory. And the name of this character is Ambulous Beetle. This is my first figure that I'm buying from this company, from this line. So I just want to compare this to some other figures, see how this one, as far as articulation and paints and so forth. Really looking forward to this. So let's go ahead and open it up and see how this figure is. Actually, before opening the package, I want to show you the back of it. You will get another image of the figure. Plus, it gives us a breakdown or a history of this character, which is pretty nice if you're considering collecting this line. You kind of have your backstory for each character and kind of world build based on what they provided on their packaging. So I think that's pretty neat. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and open up the package and see how this figure is like. One thing I like about taking out this figure from the package, if you're one of those that like to keep things in mint condition in a package, it's really easy just to slide this off the back. You still have your info of your character if you wish to keep it, and then you have your figure in the tray, and in the back you have his other accessories, which is like his shield, his spear, his extra arm, which we'll get into in a minute. So yeah, you don't have to tear through this whole packaging if you don't want to, and you have plans to keep it for some reason in package or for storage, etc. So yeah, kudos to them for doing that. I like it, and since it's not sold in retail at this time, you don't have they don't have that concern about what we see in Target and Walmart of figures being swapped and so forth. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so here's the figure. Excuse me, without any of the accessories put on him yet, but he already kind of has accessories on. He has his armor that is not it is separate piece. This is a separate piece, so this is removable. This arm is removable. I haven't done it yet since I just took it out of the package, but I have to say, so far when I took it out of the package, I was really impressed with the quality of this figure. Just the first few seconds, and the paint work on this figure is really outstanding. This here is a soft plastic, but the way that it's done with the designs, and even it's got the damaged parts, the scratches, but you don't have to worry about it hindering as much, and as far as being an issue. And over here, this leg has spikes, and you can put your finger on it and you're not going to stab yourself when when you're messing around and posing and so forth. Same these here though, yeah, these here are firm. These are like a hard plastic, so I will be kind of careful with these spikes here. The ones on the leg, no, these are rubbery. But the paint on this figure that I just got, it's amazing. Very well done. I think it's really high quality as far as it. Even the straps on his legs. It does seem like this side is kind of more of a yellowish, and this is white. I kind of leaning towards to May, because since he's wearing different armors and different straps and so forth, he's just making makeshift stuff. So guess I'm making that excuse why this is more of a yellowish. Maybe won't show on the camera, and this is really a bright, like a white. But I'm just gonna make that excuse for it. Maybe he's just using different straps and so forth that he uses. But yeah, I'm really digging this figure so far. It's pretty. As far as articulation, his arms, his elbows are single jointed. His wrist on a ball joint, which they can swivel all around. I'll show you the rest of the accessories and why this is important. But you can do his inside, or you can, like, if you rotate it a certain way, you can do it up and down. So both arms, both hands have that function that you can rotate the joint and accommodate to how you want the wrist to be bent. His head, you can look down. As far as looking up, he is hindered a little bit by his hair, but in actuality, even with the hair, I don't think he can really look up that much regardless. So, but it could be a factor, but I kind of don't think that it will go back. Even if you had cut off the hair, you still won't be able to move too much as far as high up. But yeah, shoulders. Neither shoulder's hindered. Even this one here with the armor. So that's pretty good. They rotate. Double jointed knees. They go pretty far enough for, you know, being a muscle guy and armored and so forth. And they are hindered by his muscle and also by his armor and wraps that he has on. But, I mean, they do function well enough, in my opinion. As far as ab, he has this that he can move side to side. His chest area can move down pretty far, move back. Then he has another. No, he does not. He doesn't have. I thought he had another joint down here. Make sure. No. So he just has this ab that he can utilize to move around, but he goes pretty far. Does have an ugly gap in the back if you go too far. So just depending on what angles of pictures you take. As far as going back, also has a gap. So, and I wish it was extended a bit more so that way it will cover it. So that's kind of one of the negatives I will point out from this. His joints, they're tight, but they're not the tight that, you know, you kind of should be leery as far as like, oh, it's gonna break. Again, this is right off the package, and I haven't felt at this point yet any concern as far as, oh, I have to put in hot water or dryer, etc. Poor qualities. Here, there's like that noise, right? Which is, you know, it shows how tight he is, but not, again, like I mentioned, to the point where you feel it's gonna break or anything like that. I got this figure specifically because when I compared in the images of the other ones, his skirt is high up here, so I kind of figured it would allow for more leg extensions and so forth. On this second wave, they have some Romans that it goes all the way down here, and from what I've seen in pictures and other reviews on YouTube, they can't, you know, move their legs. And two of the other gladiators, they kind of extend down here. So, and it seemed that it would hinder a little bit the articulation. They seem to be fine also, but this particular figure, he seemed to be have the better one because of the way the design of his skirt is. So yeah, I'm really digging this so far. Now his shoulder here, he has this kind of like this ball joint. He doesn't have an uppercut swivel, so he can't do that rotation. He does extend out. So, and you get a little bit of like a rotation here, no butterfly. I don't know how I feel about how this joint looks here. I mean, to me, it's a little bit of an eyesore, but it's something I can live with. On the other side, at least they match the color, so you don't have to worry about, oh, it looks like flesh and so forth. So they try to keep it consistent. At least they made that attempt to. It's not perfect. It's not the same type of silver, but you know, it will be glad they did this instead of putting another flesh color one there. Let's put it that way. So at least they made an attempt to accommodate, which, you know, I appreciate. This comes off, so there is like a knot, like a socket they can put on this on and off, so you can adjust again his look. So if you don't want that shoulder armor on there. Yeah, I didn't know that. That just happened now in the video. So yeah, I was trying to be slick about that like I did. But yeah, that's what happens. So you can put it back on, and then you can take it back off. So it stays well. I mean, if I guess if you're posing around, you have to be conscious of it. It could just pop off, I guess. But it's on there decent enough where it doesn't. All right, so let's talk about his accessories. What does he come with? Well, he comes with quite a bit, actually. I'm going to start off with the shield. So the shield I like. It's, you know, it's big enough. He's got, this is how he holds it. He has the two straps inside of it. They're both pretty much the same size. So He's got a scorpion on it, although his name is Beetle, but he's got a scorpion shield. He comes with this spear. So I think it's a nice design. Again, for Gladiator, he has one sharp metal tip, and then he has like a more dull tip at the end of it, and then he's got the wrap grip in the middle. He has a helmet, which I'll show in a minute how it looks when it's put on. He has an extra arm, so if you don't want him to have that armored arm, you can take it off. I haven't tried it yet, so in a few minutes I'll try to do that, see if it's smooth enough that you can do it without concern of damaging anything or breaking. Then here you have his joint, as I mentioned, that it's a ball, and you can rotate it around, and then you'll put his hands and so forth. Before we get to the hands, he also has this dagger that will go in front of his skirt. He has that I'll show again in a minute how to put that in. And then he has extra hands. He comes with 2 fisted hands, and then he has 2 like reaching out hands, or like, you know, just holding like a weapon, like it's has one hand gripping the weapon. He has this one perhaps he's just like holding on it like this maybe, but yeah, he has a total of 3 pairs of hands with the one he came on with. So with the accessories, you got his dagger, and that goes right in here. It can rotate a little bit. It doesn't fall out. When you put it in, you think it will, because it feels kind of loose. But see, it's kind of like just kind of went out. But I'm shaking it, and it's not falling out. So it's not that type of loose where it just falls out. When I tug it here, you feel a little bit of a grip on there. But if you get this figure, you'll see that when you put it feels loose, but it won't. As far as the helmet, it goes on like this, and I like that. The helmet is also like a thin plastic, so it doesn't feel bulky when you has it on. Where it's like sometimes when you put a helmet on a figure, like, and I would say this, like for example with Mandalorians, like from Star Wars line, sometimes you put their helmets on, like say, and it just seems like it's way too big for the character when in toy form. This one seems to fit just fine. Now it could be because his head is also small and narrow, but also the fact that they went with a thin kind of rubbery plastic to use as a helmet. So I like that also. As far as taking off a hand, I'm going to try my first attempt to do one. So I'm going to put this open hand here. Came out fairly easy. Put another one on. And it's a little bit tight to try to put back in a new one. That ball is kind of tight also to there you go. So it went in. So I would suggest maybe just if you want to heat it up just a little bit, just to be safe, but I was able to put it in. So that's pretty neat. As far as the paint app, may touched on it on the beginning a little bit. They did a great job, I think. Now there is, maybe you've noticed already looking at the video, there is a difference here. Like they used 2 different plastics. So the top has like a more tan matte color, while the abs is kind of like it's, you know, oiled and, you know, brighter, so forth. So there is a difference between that and this. The rest of the body matches as far as the top part of his chest and his arms. It's just his abs seems to be off. His hands, they match more his abs. They're not as far as also matching as far as his chest and so forth. So there is that discrepancy that I noticed on this figure. So is it a deal breaker for me as far as that difference that is noticeable? I don't know. It's not something that upsets me greatly, but I can understand some may not like this at all where they see that difference, but I'm okay with it. Alright, so I'm going to put some stuff on him, some of his armor, and then I'm going to do a size comparison. Right, so, fair warning, I decided to switch the arm, and when I did that, it broke. So I had to put it in water just to pull out this plug that goes into his arm, and this was stuck inside his arm, this here. So this seems to be like a Rebel Tech type joint, so I don't know if I can just pull this out and put another one in there and work with that. If I can't fix it, I most likely will try to get a replacement. But yep, definitely you have to heat it up first before you're going to try to attempt to take off an arm on this figure. So just broke today, so fortunately I got an extra arm, so that was good. So at least I have that, so I can still use the figure until I get this resolved. So shame, but still I like the figure. Other than that, I had no issues switching the hands off and so forth. That was fine. So let's do some comparisons with some other lines as far as height and so forth. Here's a comparison with some Mythic Legions. I don't have that many of them, but I do have Vitus or Beetles, and I have one that I customized, a Girl 2.0. So yeah, he fits in as far as I'm concerned, as far as size wise, and so it's pretty neat. So if you're still interested in purchasing this line, I think they fit in quite well with Mythic Legions if you want to mix and match and so. Comparison with He-Man Masterverse. So here we have Man at Arms and Evil Lyn. Again, he's within their height range. He doesn't exactly fit in due to the detailing compared with them, but just to give you again an idea how his size is with other lines. And here's a comparison with some Marvel Legends from different scales. So Sabretooth being one of the larger figures currently out, and we have Wolverine, which is one of the smaller figures from Marvel Legends. So he's in the middle between those two sizes. So overall, I am disappointed about the arm. You know, that sucked. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna try to fix it, do something about it. Fortunately, he does come with the extra arm, so I don't feel like, oh well, now I have a useless figure. I can still use them. But again, I'll see what I can do about fixing that. Other than that, yes, I do still like the figure. The detailing, the articulation, as far as the range he has, just the whole custom. If you want to customize this figure, you have to be careful. You're going to have to heat it in water or blow dryer if you want to do some customization as changing limbs. Accessories, decent amount of accessories, has enough hands, weapons, it's fine for what it is. Is it worth the money? I would have said yes until the arm broke. So other than that, I would say, just be careful. If you do decide to buy into this line, just make sure you heat everything up. This scenario, even when I heat it up, it cost me a little bit to take out. So just be careful with that. But nothing feel it will break as far as the joints moving around and so forth. Just a matter of if you're gonna take something apart, like the arm, like I just did, that's where you have to be leery. But the arm moved fine before. It just be careful taking off limbs. All right, I hope everyone have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful in some ways. All right, till next time.